You might think that online restrictions are only found in dictatorships, but it's also found in liberal democracies as well, thanks to terrorism, multiculturalism, and scummy, disconnected world leaders. In the United Kingdom, Theresa May introduced huge regulations that force internet companies to keep records on their customers' browsing history, as well as giving the government the power to break encryption on apps like WhatsApp. Theresa May and the Conservatives are doing this because they want to ensure no safe space for terrorists to be able to communicate online. So normally, police and law enforcement get a court-ordered warrant before invading people's personal privacy, but for the sake of security, the UK is giving up on their citizens' civil liberties. Look, Theresa May, terrorism is a huge problem within the UK, but you don't fight terrorism by casting a large net of surveillance. The majority of UK citizens are not terrorists, it's only radical Islamists. So to monitor everyone, especially those who are not Muslim, just because you have some people who are terrorists or predisposed to terrorism, seems pretty counterproductive to me. You find terrorists through investigative teams and on-the-ground police work, not mass surveillance. But it gets worse. If Theresa May is elected, the UK will introduce levies on internet companies like Facebook and Twitter. The money produced from the levy won't go to the healthcare system or infrastructure projects, but rather the money will go to advertising firms and advertising companies to advertise the dangers of internet like online pornography and quote-unquote fake news. So along with fighting terrorism, they're also stripping away their citizens' civil liberties to fight against the imaginary issues of porn and fake news. Look, Theresa May, if someone wants to watch porn, just let them watch porn. They don't need the nanny state telling them otherwise. And if some news agency or news company or news media network creates fake news, allow the free market to choose and decide whether or not that particular piece of news is valuable or fake news. The government isn't the arbiters of what is fake news or not, nor is fake news even a real issue. Most people are smart enough to find out for themselves whether or not something is credible. I don't want to get all conspiratorial, but given how useless some of these regulations are, I'm led to believe that Theresa May and the Conservatives in the United Kingdom are just using the guise of safety to further encroach upon the open and free web and upon personal liberty. It's not just them, though. Germany's cabinet, headed by Angela Merkel, passed legislation to tackle online hate speech because apparently offending people with different cultures is the type of issues that they care about. The law enables Germany to fine social media companies up to 50 million euros for not reacting swiftly enough to reports of hate speech. What's swiftly, you might ask? Well, that's up for a judge's discretion. Look, Germany, Angela Merkel, I get that you're trying to go away from your Nazi past, but ironically, you're behaving like freaking Nazis right now. People should have the right to say whatever they want to in a free and open society. So if someone wants to be a racist on the internet, just let them be a racist online. They're not physically harming anyone. Most of them are trolls anyways. Besides, oftentimes when you censor hate speech, it has the opposite effect of what you want it to have, as in it empowers people who are legitimately racist by making them believe they're fighting for just causes of both racism and free speech. I like fighting for free speech. Clearly, I don't want to defend racists, but here I am standing alongside racists because we both are against the laws that you've set up. These laws are stupid, impractical, counterproductive, not to mention it's fundamentally against an individual's human rights to censor or regulate them for expressing themselves. I think it's pretty clear that both Germany and the United Kingdom have a lot of work to do in terms of maintaining their people's civil liberties like personal privacy and free speech. And I also think, again, given how useless some of these regulations are, an argument can be made as to why they're just doing this to encroach on people's civil liberties, then ultimately remove those civil liberties. We know that government has a habit of doing this, as in they create laws under the guise of safety from one specific thing, but then that law over time erodes other freedoms and civil liberties as it persists, and we end up with something entirely different. We've seen this in the Patriot Act, for example. This act has been used to justify far more than the original purpose of swiftly arresting terrorists like drone surveillance. Who's to say that these laws the UK and Germany are pushing or already have pushed won't erode other freedoms as it has done in America? I don't know about you, but I'm pretty fearful of the future of the internet as we know it. The implications of these types of laws are wide-reaching, truly international in scope. And if we don't do something about this, pretty soon the internet as we know it will be a thing of the past. We'll wake up to a world that's more familiar with China and North Korea and not the United Kingdom or Germany, because we won't have personal privacy and we won't have free speech anymore. Let's not allow that to happen. I'm Jay Feza from the Rebel.media. If you want to fight against those who want to censor you or limit your personal privacy or your freedom of speech, like and subscribe to the Rebel.media.